Okay, lesson 6.4 is all about adding and subtracting, basically fractions is what we're doing. Remember, to add and subtract fractions, we have to have common denominators. Since these are already both the same, then that's just 9 plus 6, both of those things over k, which is 15 over k. So again, my denominators are the same. So this is 9z plus 9y over y plus z. But 9z and 9y have something in common. They both have a 9 in common. So I'm going to divide out the 9, and I have z plus y, because 9 times z is 9z, and 9 times y is 9y. So that's the same. Okay, my bottom is y plus z. Y plus z and z plus y are the same thing, because it doesn't matter which order you add and subtract. So the answer to this one is just 9. Again, my denominators are exactly the same. So this is 5x minus 3 plus 4x all over x plus 3. So that becomes 5x. Basically, we're subtracting a 3, so minus 3, and we are subtracting a positive 4x, which becomes minus 4x over x plus 3. That becomes x minus 3 over x plus 3, because 5x minus 4x is x. And then I still had the negative 3. Again, my denominators are the same. So this is f plus g minus f minus g over 10, which is f plus g minus f plus g over 10. F minus f is nothing, and g plus g is 2g. So I have 2g over 10. 2 goes into 10 5 times. So I'm left with g over 5. I do not have a common denominator anymore, so I have to get that first. 10 is the same as 2 times 5. 5x is 5 times x. So to be exactly the same, this has a 2 and a 5, but it doesn't have an x like this one does. So I need an x on the bottom, but then I'd also need one on the top. And for 5x to be exactly the same as this, it's missing a 2. So I multiply by 2 on the bottom and the top. So now my top is negative 3x minus 1 times 2 is 2 over 5 times 2 times x, because both of my denominators are 5 times 2 times x, which is just 10x. 8 and 9, they don't have anything in common. So this needs a 9 on the bottom and the top. And this needs an 8 on the bottom and on the top. So 9 times x is 9x, and 9 times 8 is 72. 8 times 3x is 24x. 8 times 3 is 24. And all of that is over 72x. 9 times 8 times x is what my whole bottom is in both places. 9 plus 24x, right? 9x plus 24x is 33x. Positive 72 plus 24 is positive 96. And then my denominator is still 72x. Okay, I know all of these numbers are divisible by 3, so I'm going to divide them all by 3. 33 divided by 3 is 11x. 96 divided by 3 is 32. And 72 divided by 3 is 24. And then I need that x on there. And that looks like it's as simple as it's going to go. So this is my answer. Okay. This counts as one thing. Okay, if I've got adding or subtracting going on as my denominator, that just is one thing on its own. So the bottom of this one is x plus 10. The bottom of the other is an x. So this one is missing an x, and this one's missing an x plus 10. If I put an x plus 10 on the bottom, I need to put it on the top. If I put an x on the bottom, I need to put it on the top. So my top is 6x. And now I need to take this negative 7. So a way to think of it is to just like move that negative up to the 7. Negative 7 times the x. And negative 7 times the 10. And my bottom is x times x plus 10. My top becomes negative 1x minus 70 over x times x plus 10. And since both of these don't have an x, and 10 isn't a factor of both of them, this is as simple as it's going to go. So I'm done. Okay. Remember, this is one thing, and this is one thing, but x squared minus 4 actually can be factored. That's a difference of squares, right? So the square root of x squared is x and x. The square root of 4 is 2 and 2. And one of them gets a positive and one gets a negative. So this one is missing an x plus 2 because it doesn't have that. So I have to multiply the top times x plus 2. The second fraction, it's not missing anything. X minus 2 is already part of this, so I don't need to multiply that by anything at all. So now my top is x squared plus 2x plus negative 8 or minus 8 over x plus 2, x minus 2. Okay, but when it looks like this, I have to double check that I can't factor this. So I'll make an x, put negative 8 at the top and 2 at the bottom. Let's see, two things that multiply to negative 8 could be a 4 and a negative 2. And those add to a positive 2. So my top can get rewritten as x plus 4, x minus 2, right? These answers. And my bottom is x plus 2, x minus 2. And since I have an x minus 2 on the top and the bottom, they cancel out. So my final answer is x plus 4 over x plus 2. Okay, this one I've got to factor the bottom for both of these. Okay, so I know it's going to be x times x. I'm looking for two things that multiply to negative 48 and add to 2. That's a positive 8 and a negative 6. So I do plus 8 and minus 6. Now I need two things that multiply to negative 72 and add to negative 1, right? And that could be a negative 9 and a positive 8. So this is x minus 9, x plus 8. Okay, they both have an x plus 8 in common, but I still need an x minus 9 on this one to make it the same as this. If I multiply the bottom by x minus 9, I need to multiply the top by x minus 9. And this one is missing an x minus 6. Okay. If I multiply the bottom by x minus 6, I have to multiply the top by x minus 6. All right, now you get to use your favorite way. I don't care what way you use. We need to take x plus 3 times x minus 9. We have to figure out what this multiplies to. So some people are big fans of doing a box. X plus 3, x minus 9, x squared, and 3x, and negative 9x, and negative 27. So that makes x squared minus 6x, because 3 minus 9 is negative 6, minus 27. Okay. And I could do another box for the second part, but also, okay, so I know that I've got an x squared minus 6x minus 27 plus whatever this multiplies to be. Some people like the box, some people like the distributive property. X times x is x squared. X times negative 6 is negative 6x. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times negative 6 is negative 24. That is also a fine way to do this. You'll get the same answer either way. Okay, I have an x squared and an x squared. That makes 2x squared. I have minus 6x minus 6x, so negative 12x plus 4x. Negative 12 plus 4 is negative 8x. Negative 27 minus 24 is negative 51 over x minus 9, x plus 8, x minus 6. Okay, and now I just have to make sure that 2x squared minus 8x minus 51 can't be factored. So if I make an x, that's negative 102 at the top. I took 2 times negative 51. And the bottom is negative 8. So two things that multiply to equal 102 and add to negative 8. Let's see, that's 1 and 102, 2 and 51, 3 and 34, 6 and 17. And that's it. Those are all the pairs I can make. if I make this big number negative, none of these add to -8. So I'm done. This is as simple as it gets. Okay, x squared minus 9 factors to x plus 3, x minus 3, because that's that difference of squares. Okay, x squared minus 6x plus 9. I need two things that multiply to 9 and add to -6. That's -3 and -3. So x minus 3 times x minus 3. Meaning that this first one is missing an x minus 3. It only has 1 and it needs 2. So I multiply the bottom and the top by x minus 3. I feel like I should write that a little clearer. And this one is missing an x plus 3. So I'm going to multiply the bottom and top by x plus 3. Distribute x squared minus 3x minus, I'm going to attach this minus sign to the 4, times, well, -4 times x is -4x. -4 times 3 is -12. And my bottom is that x plus 3, x minus 3, x minus 3. Okay. The top simplifies to x squared minus 7x minus 12. And then I have to double check. Are there two things that multiply to -12 and add to -7? To make -12, I could have a 1 and a 12, a 2 and a 6, a 3 and a 4. One of them can be negative. So I could have a -12, a -6, or a -4. When I add those up, 1 minus 12, I get -11. 2 minus 6 is -4. 3 minus 4 is -1. None of them work. This is my answer. For this problem, my denominators are t plus 5 and t, and this one becomes t times t plus 5. I can factor out a t. So my first term is missing a t, right, to make it be identical to this. So I'd need another t on top. My second term is missing a t plus 5. So I'd need another one of those on top. And my third term is not missing anything. It had both the t and the t plus 5 on the bottom. When I multiply that out, t times t is t squared. Okay, 8 times t is 8t. 8 times 5 is 40. Negative t times t is negative t squared. Negative t times 5 is negative 5t. And then I still have a minus 25 from my problem. T squared minus t squared cancels each other out. 8t minus 5t is 3t. 40 plus negative 25 is positive 15. That's my top. My bottom is t times t plus 5. Double check that the top doesn't have any common denominators. does, or sorry, I did common factors. 3 does go into both 3t and 15. So this becomes 3 times t makes 3t, and 3 times 5 makes 15, over t times t plus 5. I have a t plus 5 on the top and the bottom, so my answer is 3 over t. Number 12 is a fun little trick. Okay, when these are in the wrong order, okay, this is really like a negative x and a positive 1. But I want a positive x and a negative 1. So I'm going to pull out a negative 1. And then it becomes x minus 1. So whenever you have these in this wrong order, you can divide it by negative 1. Now here's where that is kind of snazzy. Remember that this now means that my top, I have a 16 over x minus 1. And then I have like a negative 1 and an x minus 1 on the bottom. But if I thought of this as 3 over negative 1 times x minus 1, what is 3 divided by negative 1? That's negative 3. So I'm going to rewrite this as 16 minus 3 over x minus 1. They both have that in common. I basically just assigned that negative to the top instead of the bottom, because multiplying by negative 1 and dividing by negative 1 accomplish the same thing. So now I have 13 over x minus 1. This one is very, very similar. I, in general, prefer that I have the z's first. So if I take that and pull out a negative 1, it becomes z minus 5 instead of 5 minus z. Negative 25 divided by negative 1 is positive 25. So now I've got 25 minus 6z minus negative 5, which minus negative 5 is plus 5, over z minus 5. 25 plus 5 is 30. So I've got negative 6z plus 30 over z minus 5. And I noticed that negative 6 could be a factor of both terms. Negative 6 times z is negative 6z. Negative 6 times a negative 5 would give me that positive 30. And my bottom is z minus 5. Those z minus 5s cancel, and my answer is negative 6. And to factor the bottom, w squared minus 16 is w plus 4 times w minus 4, because that's a difference of squares. For this one, I need two numbers that multiply to negative 32 and add to negative 4. I know that 32 is 8 times 4, so if I had a negative 8 and a positive 4, that would make the negative 32 and the negative 4. So this bottom is w minus 8 times w plus 4. So when I compare my first term, it has the w plus 4, but I don't have a w minus 8. So this needs a w minus 8, and I also need it on the top. Okay, and this one, right, we have the w plus 4 in common, but this one doesn't have a w minus 4. So I need a w minus 4 on this one. And I also need it on the top. Okay, so now 7 times w is 7w. 7 times negative 8 is negative 56. Okay, and now I am subtracting all of what comes next. W times w is w squared minus 4w plus 7w minus 28. Feel free to make a box to multiply that out if it makes more sense to you. Okay, and our bottom is w minus 8, w plus 4, w minus 4. Okay, simplify that top. 7w minus 56 minus w squared. Negative 4w plus 7w is positive 3w, but then I make it negative, so minus 3w. And then minus 28, but I'm subtracting negative 28, so that's plus 28. Okay, before I write the whole denominator in, I just want to simplify this some more. So I have a negative w squared, 7w minus 3w is 4w, negative 56 plus 28 is minus 28. I very much dislike negatives in front of my squared term, so I'm going to factor out a negative 1 and switch all the signs. So that's a positive w squared minus 4w plus 28. Now I just have to see if that can be factored. So I need two things that multiply to 28 and add to negative 4. They would both have to be negative. My choices are 1 and 28, 2 and 14, or 4 and 7. And none of those together make it just a negative 4. So this is as factored as it goes. And my bottom is w plus 4, w minus 4, w minus 8. It doesn't matter what order those three go in. So this is my full answer. Number 15, I already have a common denominator. I have a minus 3 and a minus 3. So this just becomes a squared minus 13a minus negative 30, so plus 30 over a minus 3. Looking for two things that multiply to 30 and add to negative 13. That could be negative 10 and negative 3. So my top becomes a minus 10, a minus 3, and my bottom is a minus 3. Those cancel out, and my answer is a minus 10. To have a common denominator, this has an 8 times an x, so this needs an 8. So this needs an 8. And now they'd both be 8x's. 8 times negative x is negative 8x. 8 times 5 is 40. Minus x minus negative 9, so plus 9 over 8x. Negative 8x minus x is negative 9x. 40 plus 9 is 49 over 8x. 9 and 49 don't have anything in common, so that can't be simplified. So this is my final answer. Number 17, 2 goes into 2a and into 4. So this factors into 2 times a plus 2. So this term is missing the 2 that I've got right there. So I'm going to multiply it by the bottom and the top. Okay, I think I'm actually going to choose to write it on this side. And this negative right here, I'm going to assign up to the 2. So now my top is 5a minus 2a. Negative 2 times negative 5 is positive 10. And my bottom is 2 times a plus 2. 5a minus 2a is 3a plus 10 over 2 times a plus 2. 3a and 10 don't have anything in common, so I can't factor anything out. It just stays the way it is. Okay, and the last problem. R squared minus 3r have an r in common, so it's r times r minus 3. R squared and 6r also have an r in common. That's r times r plus 6. And r squared plus 3r minus 18. Okay, that factors to r minus 3, r plus 6. Okay, that was just a guess on my part that I double checked. I figured it would probably be what those two things were multiplied together, and negative 3 times positive 6 was the negative 18, and negative 3 plus 6 is that positive 3. Okay, so that was just kind of using the problem to help me. I am still missing an r plus 6 on the first term to make it be the same. So I'll multiply the top by r plus 6. This doesn't have an r minus 3, so I need to multiply the top by r minus 3. Okay, and the last term is missing that extra r that I've got here and here. So I'm going to multiply by r. So 7r plus 42 plus 13r minus 39 minus 1r or minus r is my top. Okay, I'm just going to simplify this before I write the bottom in. 7r plus 13r is, minus 1r. So that's 20 minus 1 is 19r. Positive 42 minus 39 is positive 3. And my bottom is r times r minus 3 times r plus 6. Since 19 and 3 have nothing in common, I'm done.